Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. And boy, oh boy, I've been needing to do this deck profile for a while. This is an update from my Prank Kids list. This is updated from the list that I took to the Fort Worth Regionals, I believe, last month. This particular list in general, I've been experimenting with a lot. And I've took it to my locals a lot more, I guess a lot more frequently than I've took the rest of my decks. I actually went undefeated with this list for 3 weeks consecutively. We have locals on Thursday and then on Saturday, and for 3 Thursdays and 3 Saturdays in a row consecutively in chronological order. I literally was undefeated with my Prank Kids list and got first place every time. And then started experimenting with other decks like Danger Dark Worlds, and then Orcas, and then Noble Knights, and other decks like that. You know, Herald, I still play that. But I was really going hard on my Prank Kids, trying to get it the best list that I possibly could. I want to make it as perfect as I possibly could as well. Because the thing about this deck that I really liked a lot about it, some people think it's easy. They're like, oh, preschooler could play this deck. It actually really does require a thorough understanding of how the deck functions. It's one of those decks that's a little bit more challenging, but also at the same time, it's rewarding. It rewards good players. It rewards skilled, and also, in addition to it rewarding skill, it rewards you for being patient if you're willing enough to dedicate yourself to play this deck and understanding the ins and outs of how it functions. The deck is really incredible. It can play through some crazy stuff, you guys. It can end on some really nice boards. It has a ton of follow-ups. I've never played a deck that has given you this many follow-ups with guaranteed plays to make for the next turn. So much recursion, draw power, searching, special summoning, protection from battling card effects. That's the same protection that Colossus has. Like, it does so much more than that. Burning and just attacking directly. Like, it just has so many different effects. It's actually really crazy how good this deck is. It's really strong against even the best decks of the current formats. This is a deck that's not even I wouldn't consider it rogue, even though a lot of people consider it to be rogue still. Like, it's like, I would say that it definitely should be meta. And if you guys feel that it's meta, I agree with you, because this deck is really that good. So let's go ahead and hop into my list, you guys. I'll show the main, extra, and side. All right, so good. Let's get started. These are my babies, man. So we're gonna get started with 3 copies. Ooh, this is my firstborn, by the way. 3 copies of Roxy's. All my babies, they were triplets. They were all born at the same time. Well, they were all born at the same day, and their mother died after that. Really sad story. But Roxy's came out a minute. So basically, they're all a minute apart. So all 3 Roxy's came out. Then a minute later, all 3 Lampsies. Then a minute later, all 3 Dropsies. Then a minute later, all 3 Fansies. Which is really cool. That I literally had 12 kids in one day, which was pretty crazy. Yeah, my plate's been pretty full, you guys. Bills are through the roof. They run my water bill all the time. They're like, literally, you would think that because Dropsies is made out of water that we wouldn't need water, but nope. My gas bill still goes up. Lampsies doesn't cook dinner. He doesn't even help to heat anything up. It doesn't change anything. Roxy's was supposed to help me build my house. But we're going to start off with 3 Roxy's, 3 Lampsies, 3 Dropsies, and 3 Fansies. These guys keep my hands full all the time. I would say for the most part that Lampsies, they really do respect their brother. They respect them so much, in fact, that when they don't listen to me, they listen to Lampsies. And luckily, me and Lampsies are really tight. Like, that's my boy, you know. I don't play favorites with my kids, but it's just that me and him are just so close. And normally when I'm trying to get a point across to them, if they don't want to listen to me, they'll listen to Lampsies. But you're absolutely maximizing on these. It's very important to see 2 pranks in your hand, or at least one of them. The thing with this deck is you can't play if you don't see a prank kid at all. So not only do you maximize them, but I maximize on every way to search them. And then I added my own unique tech into the deck that increases the ceiling of the deck, increases the consistency and how often I can see them. So it just really elevated the deck in general. I feel that the deck's a tier above 3. It's definitely more on the borderline of tier 2/1.5. I think it guaranteed, no matter what, prank kids are tier 2. Like, the bare minimum, in the worst case scenario, on their worst day, they're a tier 2 deck that can destroy even some of the best other tier 2 decks. You guys should have a thorough understanding of what they do, but if you don't know what they do, I'll go ahead and explain it real quick, just a real quick synopsis on them. So all of them, their effects trigger only if they're sent to the graveyard for a link or fusion summon of a prank kids. So what they do is they do 1 action, and then you can, as an optional effect, you can special summon another prank kid with a different name from the one that you use from your hand or your deck. So Roxy's banishes a card from your hand to draw, then specials. Lampsies inflicts 500 damage. Dropsies gains 1,000 life points, and this allows you to Foolish Burial a card from your deck to your grave. The ironic thing is he's a Thunder type, and in the Thunder Dragon matchup, this is how you play around Colossus, because whatever card you needed to search off of Doodle Doodle Doo, guess what? You send it from your deck to grave with Fansies, and then resolve your Doodle to just add it back anyway. So you can play around Colossus by literally sending the card from your deck to your grave and then adding it from your grave to your hand. So yeah, this deck has a really incredible Thunder Dragon matchup. It's really strong against Strikers. In fact, this deck is stronger against Strikers than it is against any other meta deck. Like, Strikers is one of the easiest matchups for this deck. Oh, no, it's all speculation, 3-6. You're just saying that because... No, I'm saying that because I have not lost to a single Striker player, including at the regions. I never lost to any Striker players, not at locals. And there's a really good Striker player at our locals. Shoutouts to Cordero. He's a really good Striker player. Never lost to him with the Prank Kids. Now, the other thing is, something that I feel about them is they symbolize an actual emotion. There's something that they all convey. And you can clearly see, like, they're portraying an emotion in general, but also in the artwork, it goes in correlation. All three of them, their art goes in correlation with the emotion that they're trying to portray to you. So, Fansies, to me, and this is just my opinion, I'm not saying that this is really what they're meant to be. Fansies symbolizes freedom. I mean, look at my son, bro. He's dabbing. Look at him. And they have gangsta pajamas. They're wearing they're wearing the Teletubby pajamas. They're so gangsta. So we have this guy. He's dabbing, right? He's literally young, wild, and free. And he's so lit that he has a tornado for legs. I love Fansies' artwork the most. It's just the most fun in general. But Fansies to me symbolizes freedom. Dropsies is really sad and a lot of times depressed. And also at the same time, he is a crybaby. Like, out of all my kids, he does get on my nerves the most. He's just always sad. And it's like, when we win, everybody's happy but him. He's just, I don't understand. I feel that he's definitely been diagnosed with depression or something. But also the other thing is I've been having my eye on this particular Dropsies because Roxy's had told me the other day that he was looking at magazines with men on them. And I was not really happy about that because I don't want any gay children. But at the same time, if he's gay, I'm still going to love him. But Dropsies definitely symbolizes more or less sadness and depression. Lampsies is absolutely aggression. I mean, look at him. He's going Super Saiyan, bro. All three of these Lampsies, especially this Lampsies, bro, he is going Super Saiyan. Look at how awesome he looks, bro. And then Roxy's, we did make a funny joke about this saying Konami was racist for giving them a big butt. Because out of all my kids, look at Roxy's. They gave Roxy's big butts and afros. Really, really, Konami. Really. And their skin's brown. We were just laughing about it because we're like, really? Oh, and then on top of that, you gave them a bun? All right, all right. But Roxy symbolizes fun. Roxy's is absolutely just symbolizes fun. There's nothing about him that doesn't say that all three of these triplets are not having fun. Lampsies is aggression. Dropsies is kind of sadness / depression. And Fansies is absolutely just freedom. Like, I love Fansies so much, you guys. And the other benefit is under both Rivalry and Gozen, you actually have Wind, Thunder types in your extra deck in your main deck, Water, Aqua types in your extra and main deck, Fire, Pyro types in your extra and main deck, and Earth, Rock types in your extra and main deck. So under Rivalry and Gozen at the same time, you can still make plays. But being under any one of them, there's a ton of options. Like, there was somebody who flipped Imperial Order, Rivalry, and Gozen on me, and I literally, in the same turn, just made Totally Awesome and Rip Roaring Rooster, cleared the back row, and ended on the gate. Which is really cool. But that's it for my kids. Love them to death, even though they give me a nerve. They get on my nerves, and they gave Weather Washer a heart attack, and she's in the hospital right now. Next up, moving forward, we're playing 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. This is the tech of my deck. I'm absolutely never cutting this card in my life. And in fact, this card's so good that I would say, why don't Prank Kid players play this? Like, I don't understand why they don't play this card. Like, this card is great. It actually just elevates the consistency of the deck. And in general, if you have cards that can basically lead to the combo, which is the 2 or 3 card combo, it increases the ceiling of the deck because the combo itself is a very, very high ceiling combo. And there's a lot of, I guess you could say, accumulative advantage that you get as far as card economy goes, a lot of value you get, and everything just snowballs out of control to the point where there's so much going on that your opponent really has a lot to do, like if they want to clear your board and get you out of your loop. So yeah, this card just literally searches a field spell. You tribute it, add a field spell from deck to hand. I played 2 different options for it. I want all my cards to be, I guess you could say, multi-purpose, versatile cards that don't just do one thing. I didn't want anything linear, just being good for only one play. This card can make multiple plays, which is really cool. It's going to always search the card that's missing from your hand, being one of my children or a fusion spell, which is really cool. Because of what I play in my main deck, that's what makes it even better. So if you're not playing Planet Pathfinder, maybe you just didn't know it was a card because it's really old, try it out in your list. I won't be mad at you. Just remember where you got the sauce from. And then 2 copies of King of the Swamp. Now, King of the Swamp's low-key, you know, King of the Swamp, low-key, like, there is a connection between him and my kids that, you know, a lot of people just, you know, they don't know. But basically, King of the Swamp, low-key, is their mom's brother that died when she gave birth to them. And the only reason why he's in this deck right now is because he's a really good babysitter. He's a really good babysitter. A lot of the times I just need a break. Like, I would say every 12 hours or so, I need a break away from them because they are crazy. He's a really good babysitter. He's going to be either searching out your poly or when you're making Battle Butler, you can just use him as one of the fusion materials, being either Lampsies, Fansies, or also Dropsies. But he's still a really good card. I wouldn't say, oh, because Thunder Dragons exist, let's just not play Searchers and all. And in fact, if my whole deck searches, let's just take all the Searchers out, right? Just because Colossus exists. No, I wouldn't take out consistency cards for the fear of a matchup. In that matchup, I would just side out more of those cards for more hate for the Thunder Dragon matchup. Now, starting off with the spells, 3 copies of PRANKIDS Place, you guys. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on in this house, this is a madhouse. There's a lot going on every single day. In fact, every minute, my children never cease to amaze me. It's actually so crazy, and my life is so random just living with them that a lot of the times I have to leave this house. And I let Weather Washer and Battle and Butler, you know, I let them do what they need to do. But we've been having a problem with the roof because literally every day my kids break out the house, just destroying the roof by riding Rocket Ride right out the house. Like, they literally just destroy the roof every day trying to take a trip on Rocket Ride. And we've put multiple chains and locks on Rocket Ride, and they still find a way to get it. It just, I don't know. But this is deceptive. Look how nice and peaceful the house looks like. Yeah, no, in real life, like, the artwork of PRANKIDS Place should not be this. But this is your searcher. It adds any PRANKID monster on activation. Also, the best and most powerful effect of this card is the chain blocking that you can get. So, in general, the card's going to pay for itself in more than just one way. If you guys aren't acclimated with how the deck works, it does a really good job at chain blocking. In addition to that, there's not very many hand traps that can stop it. Like, when I say, no exaggeration, I've played through a Cypher, Gear Gamma, an Ash Blossom, a Drone Lock, and an Infinite Impermanence, being 4 hand traps, playing against this going second Cyber Dragon deck that hand trapped me 4 times and only had 1 card left in his hand. And when I say, like, my ending board literally was still totally awesome with PRANKIDS Pandemonium face down and literally 2 pranks in hand. Yeah, like, it was that good. So you'd be surprised what the deck can play through. It's not just about the chain blocking, but it's also because once you resolve poly, the amount of plays that you can make is literally so immense that multiple hand traps still can't stop it. And 4 hand traps to stop it, you have to have Ash for the field spell. You have to have Impermanence for the search of do-do-do-do-do. Then you have to have the Ghost Bell for do-do-do to add. And then you have to hope that your opponent didn't already have a Pandemonium in their hand. So those 3 specific hand traps are how you stop the turn completely. But can you imagine how many decks actually just literally open those 3 specific hand traps in their hand every time? And then if you do, you have to have full combo, and you have to pray that I don't have more plays in my hand to make. But if you fusion summon for a PRANKIDS monster, all monsters you control gain 500 permanently. All monsters. If you link summon for a PRANKID, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500. And the thing is, when you link and fuse, you put this as the highest card in the chain link. So everything beneath it is going to resolve, and there's nothing they can do unless it's an indirect interaction negation like Impermanence and Valor. 1 fusion recycling plant, making the Optimus Primes and the Planet Pathfinder that much more versatile. An issue that I've had in the past is opening Terraforming in Place, and Place already serving its purpose, but the Terraforming being dead without playing other field spells. I think that every PRANKIDS list should play Fusion Recycling Plant. I don't know why they don't. They think Invocation is a better card. Me personally, I just feel like I'm not going to play Invocation over this because there's more longevity that you get out of it. And also, in general, like, I don't like when the only way I can make my play can be Ghost Belt. Like, activating Invocation and getting a bell just really sucks. Whereas Poly literally has no counterplay. Like, they can't negate Poly with the hand trap unless it's like Cypher and Gear Delta. But Plant, also in addition to searching Poly from deck or grave to hand, during the end phase, you can add 1 monster from your graveyard that was to your hand that was used as a fusion material that turn. So when you make plays on your opponent's turn and on your turn, you're getting a free card back from your grave to your hand. So you're getting a draw off of Roxy's. You're getting to a +1 from grave off of your PRANKIDS do. You're getting another card from grave off of this. You're getting a draw off of PRANKIDS Pranks. That's another card. And then on your opponent's turn, you get 2 more off of Bow Wow Bark. So it just, if you count it and add it up, you get over 6 cards back to your hand by resolving 1 polymerization with 2 pranks. If you search the poly off of this, that's how much you're going to get. It's nuts. The 1-set rotation, because I am playing field spells with different names, this does have high ceiling because it can counter evenly, and at the same time, playing against decks that have field spells, this card acts as a real trap, which is really cool. It also just increases the consistency of the deck. It allows you to have more cards that get into the combo. We actually play 19 cards that search out extender plays like fusion spells, instant fusion, prank, etc. All those cards search out the cards that start the combo, and then for the amount of PRANKIDS that you play, you have the 12 plus 3 field spells makes 15, 2 terraformings makes 17, the set rotation makes 18, and the 3 planet pathfinders make 21. So you have 21 ways to search your PRANKIDS, and then you have 19 ways to get to the extenders that start the combo. So the deck's really consistent. Trust me, like, it's absolutely mathematically incorrect for this deck to ever break, and it's never happened to me, not once. Next up for our starters slash extender slash follow-up, Instant Fusion. Being one of the most flexible spells in the deck, it can do a myriad of different things. I would say it's way stronger in the mid to late game because there's a lot more options that you have. But in the worst case scenario, Instant Fusion plus PRANKIDS Monster is a somewhat similar combo, but the most powerful combo of the deck is Poly plus 2 PRANKIDS of different names. It's not even Pandemonium because Pandemonium actually locks you into only PRANKIDS, and I think Dinka Boy didn't realize that because he summoned a Borolo the same turn he resolved Pandemonium. But Poly plus 2 pranks can do a myriad of different things. You can go into start snowballing into some Thunder Dragon plays if you want to play Thunder Dragons. You don't even need to play that many because Summon Sword can just target Fansies and bring out Roar. Roar will bring out Dark, and you just make plays from there. You can end on any rank 4, rank 3, or rank 2, or you can end on a Griffin board. Griffin boards are nice. You can end on Borload, Boar Sword. Like, you can just do so many different things. The Poly 2 PRANKIDS combo, you can do Build-A-Bear Workshop on that combo and create your own board. You don't have to end on anything that you've seen other people end on playing the deck. If you just know what you're doing, you're a pretty skilled player, there's a lot you can do. So Poly's like the most powerful starter card in the deck. Next up, 3 copies of PRANKIDS Pandemonium. Now, Pandemonium is how you really play on your opponent's turn efficiently. And when I say efficiently, it's the most consistent way to make plays on your opponent's turn. The links and the fusions, to a certain degree, can allow you to play on your opponent's turn, but normally they're not going to be able to be made unless you can fusion in general. And Pandemonium is just a quick play fusion during the main phase. And it kind of sucks on your opponent's turn that they have priority, so they get to make the first action. But the point of really playing PRANKIDS, if you want to play competitively, is you're not trying to stop the play from happening, if that makes sense. The idea is you want to let your opponent play, and you want to let them get to that point where they're about to start snowballing out of control. When you get to that point, it's literally like if you stop that point right there, like that transition from I'm currently in this simplified game state, but it's about to get crazy. When you let them go deep enough in the combo and you start flipping the Pandemonium and making your PRANKID plays like Rip Roaring Rooster and Battle Butler off of Rip Roaring Rooster off Plan and Battle Butler for the combo decks, like that's when you really get the most advantage out of this spell because you're trying to let your opponent play. You don't want to stop the plays. You want to let them play and you want to punish them for it, and you want to out-resource them because PRANKID's resource game is one of the strongest resource games just in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, period. PRANKID's resource game is crazy, actually. So yeah, this spell is amazing, and it's not once per turn. So a lot of plays that you can make. You can also, it's really hard for this deck to get OTK'd. It's really hard to get killed playing this deck, even against the best decks. Like, I've outgrinded Thunder Dragons literally to the point where they just ran out of resources. Like, they tried to use Thunder Dragon Fusion to search. I ashed it. And that, literally, it's so crazy, dude. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. So the artwork also is really cool on the PRANKIDS cards because there's a lot going on. Like, Pandemonium, that's like the plan. Like, me and my kids actually have a plan to just take over the world. Pranks is actually what they did to our neighbor, and I had to fork out, like, 2K. Like, 2K just to, like, keep them on the hush mode so they wouldn't call the police. Because if they called the police and took my kids away, I would lose my mind. But yeah, Pranks, in the artwork, they're just fixing our neighbor's house. But what Pranks does is you discard a PRANKID card, you special a PRANKID token, which is a Pyro type, which, again, playing around Rivalry goes in. Hey, there we go, right? What it also does, in addition to generating a token, which actually, believe it or not, getting 2 PRANKIDs on field is kind of just another win condition of the deck, very similar to Spiral and Pendulums and any warrior deck, you just need 2 monsters on field just to make the combo happen. You make do, and you just start your combo from there. And a lot of chain blocking happens. But during the end phase, this is a Dagusto Emerald for the archetype. Any 3 Prinkets cards, shuffle them to the deck, draw 1. So this is another way that you can plus. You plus off this, you plus off Plant, you plus off Doodle and Bow Wow Bark, you draw off of Roxy's. You know, just a lot of advantage that you can get. And then also, we have 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Even though the deck plays through a bunch of hand traps, the hand trap that I hate the most against this deck is specifically Ghost Bell in Haunted Mansion. That hand trap, it really hurts me when I'm making plays on my opponent's turn. Now, when I'm going first and I'm making plays, it's a lot harder to stop me. Even with the Ghost Bell, like, it's really hard to stop me. Like, trust me. It's really hard. I told you, I played through Bells. Like, trust me. But what it really hurts is on your opponent's turn when you're making plays and they bail your Bow Wow Bark. That really hurts. When they bail your Weather Washer, that really hurts because that is your follow-up that is setting you up for the next turn. And when they can deny that from you, they literally have just simplified the game state and put you in a position where now you have to have combo pieces in your hand or you're not going to be able to play anymore. So Call By counters the Bell, and in my list in Fort Worth, I was also main decking Ghost Bell because Ghost Bell counters Call By, and Call By is another card that can stop your links and your fusions because they all of them tribute themselves. Every single Prankid extra deck card tributes themselves for cost. So they're going to hit the grave before they resolve, and Call By can hurt that. So that's another reason why I main deck Bells. I main deck Bells to counter the Call Bys, main deck Call Bys to counter the grave, counter the Bells. Like, I literally felt like I had the perfect list, and I also mitigated the weaknesses of the deck. And then we play one Reasoning. Always been playing it, dude. Like, I don't even understand why people are barely just now starting to play it. Like, nothing's the same level. And then 2 copies of Prankid's Plan. Prankid's Plan is another way that you can effectively, and I mean effectively in a responsible manner, manage your resources. Also, but the other thing is too, like, I feel like a lot of Prankid's players are really greedy, and playing Pot of Desires is not a good idea, trust me, but there are a lot of Prankid players that are really greedy and don't know how to manage their resources properly, and then they end up having to rely on Plan. That is a weakness of the card, is when you put yourself in a position where you have to rely on it to get your resources back, now you're absolutely at the mercy of your opponent. And if they wait, like a smart player will wait until they know no matter what, if the Plan won't stop the OTK, they'll go for the push. But Plan is a good way to keep you in the game, and at the same time, it prevents OTKs from happening a lot of the time. It's an effect that people tend to forget about. But yeah, like, I play the 2 plans because when it comes up, I need it more or less to prevent me from being OTK'd. Because as far as resource managing, I've never been in the position where I needed Plan to put my cards back. Like, I'm a really smart player with this deck. And if you play it right, you don't ever have to rely on Plan to get your stuff back. For our extra deck, we play 2 copies of Rocket Ride. Oh yeah, and fun fact, this is my door. Like, this is on my front door, and that's Bow Wow Bark trying to get out the door. And my kids are, like, teasing him because he's too fat and he can't get out. Rocket Ride. This is literally the piece of machine. This machine right here, like, my kids break out my roof every single day. Like, they destroy the roof of my house riding this guy. Just because, like, I don't know, I don't understand what goes through their mind half the time. But he can attack directly, which helps you chain blocking going second, because if you fusion summon him, all your pranks will be lower chain links than this. This is always going to be chain link 3 field spell, then it's chain link 4, because the field spell is still nuts. And it also can distribute itself to special summon 2 Prankids of different names from grave. This card is nuts, as well as Weather Washer. Like, these fusions are just amazing. I mean, they're like, making the fusions isn't what wins you the game. It's triggering your Prankids effects to float. That's what wins you games. But the fusions themselves always give you follow-ups. And then Weather Washer just counters Ray. It counters floaters. It's a really strong card. It's an Armades for the archetype. So that's another amazing effect that's added to their very, very versatile arsenal that they already have. 1 Battle Butler. It just punishes combo decks for extending too much, for being greedy and thinking that they were going to win in the first place. The second that Warlord and Boarsword hit the field, I just clear them off, which actually has happened in real life. And if they ever kill this card, they get punished by me being able to special summon any monster from my graveyard, which is nuts. That's it for the fusions. The links, we have do. And yeah, Battle Butler can't cook, you guys. Fun fact, he cannot cook. All of his food is bland and tasteless. He doesn't believe in seasoning, apparently. And that's why, like, if you look in the artwork, my kids are pissed, dude, because they don't like anything he makes. Weather Watcher's a better cook, and she can't even cook. 3 do. So this is our pet. That's literally the largest animal in the house. It's bigger than me. This card is just nuts. It's the best link to of the whole archetype. Like, it starts all the combos, dude. Like, it's a plus. It's really a +2 when you think of it, because it's gonna pay for itself. The Prankids are gonna pay for themselves. You're gonna search on summon, then you're gonna get 2 cards from grave to hand. It's just such a powerful link. it searches your whole deck. Your field spell searches your monsters, and it can search any of the spells and traps. There's nothing it can't do. And then one Bow Wow Bark. Bow Wow Bark is actually still a really powerful follow-up. The protection he gives you and the attack boost helps for really big pushes. I've gotten Battle Butler up to 5,000 attack before, which is really nice. So yeah, the protection, it really matters. Weather Watcher and Bow Wow Bark on your opponent's turn, making your whole board basically Thunder Dragon Colossuses that can be destroyed by battle or card effects is really nice. Rip Roar and Rooster for all the back row decks. You just punish them. You can make this off of plan, and they really don't see it coming. They're in their end phase. You kill all their back row, and then OTK them with Boar Sword next turn. Speaking of, Boar Load and Boar Sword, so super easy to make these. In fact, a top deck Instant Fusion got me into both of these, and I just killed my opponent after that. For XYZs, yes, I do play XYZs beside Totally Awesome. I was playing Giant Hand back when people were playing Dinkles in the main deck more. Thunder Dragons were main decking Dinkles, and that was an issue because they main decked the Dinkles, and Pandemonium is during the main phase, they get priority, they can just summon Dinkle, and I'm locked out of playing, right? So I have this for the Dinkles, but I haven't been seeing Dinkle too much. So I decided to play the Redoer and the Dweller. Dweller's for Dangers, because Dangers can play through Battle and Butler and still push, and that's a problem. So if you Dweller them and then put them under Battle Butler, you Raigeki them and they're under Dweller, it's really hard for them to come back from that. And Redoer is just an insane rank 4 that helps me to grind and solves a lot of the problems, giving me more interruptions on my opponent's turn. And then the Toad, it's super easy to make. It's just a generic, I'm sorry, not generic, but it's just a really great negation that also gives you a follow-up to get your Dropsies back. Or if you already have Dropsies, you just add it back with its own effect because you can make it again. The side deck is 3 gold spells, solving the problem for Called By, and then, you know, Thunder Dragons really struggle against it. Salamangreats and Orcus are going to be having problems with this card. It's just a really great hand trap. There's really nothing that Ash Blossom and Ghost Spell together can't stop. Having them both in hand is just really nice. 3 Drolls. This is going to be for Thunder Dragons, you know, because they're playing a lot of Dangers for Dangers. For Sky Strikers. There's a lot of decks that are really losing to Drolls these days. I felt like it was a good meta call. We have 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. We just needed more hand traps. Oh yeah, and Guard Dragons lose to Droll too. So we wanted 12 hand traps in the side deck because we really don't want our opponent to style on us. And then finally 3 red reboots. This is just for decks that play too many floodgates, like Rivalry goes and there can only be 1, etc. You know, just stuff like that. I mean, this deck doesn't lose to Monarch Erupt by like any stretch of the imagination. Like all of your links and your fusions can play under Erupt, which is a fun fact. But yeah, you guys, the reboot really was just for the trap decks that are really trying to lock you out of playing the game. Like Imperial Order is still a card. Yeah, you really just the 12 hand traps are so that they don't style on you to the point where you can't play the game. As long as you're allowed to play, you can virtually break any board and you can beat any deck. And that's really the main reason why I'm not playing Evenly, because there's no board that I can't break, so I don't need Evenly to help me to break the board. I'd rather just reboot the back rows. After I reboot the back rows, I'll use Ripper and Rooster to just clear all of them off in the first place. Evenly really was for the boards full of back rows, because boards full of monsters, even if they can't be destroyed, Boarload and Boar Sword are still good cards that you can make, trust me. There's a lot of ways that you can play around things. Time Thief Redoer is another option. It's just a really strong deck, you guys. Thank you so much for watching the deck profile. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I love my children. This deck is awesome. For those of you who are PRANKIDS fans, I hope that you enjoyed this. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content and have a beautiful day, all right? I'll be seeing you soon. Peace.